Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good tomorrow, or whatever it is, wherever you are right now. This is J.P. Smith coming to you from Conyers, Georgia, and our story today is about getting out of your slump, and I'm going to use Dr. Seuss to help us get there. I kind of bring all this together at the end, so don't despair. During our ascent to success, to greatness, we go through a lot of stuff. Sometimes a lot of it is really serious stuff. Sometimes it's just about being in a slump. And sometimes, as we're learning, we need to infuse a little humor along with the serious. And today, I'm going to infuse a little bit of Dr. Seuss to lighten things up. And I'll tell you a story about Dr. Seuss another time. During the 1965 baseball season, the incredible Hall of Famer, one Mr. Willie Mays, went through an 0 for 24 hitting slump. That means, folks, that 24 consecutive times he got up to the plate and got struck out. Game after game, day after day, nothing but failure, nothing but outs. Imagine if Willie Mays had just quit right then. And I'll come back to Willie later towards the end of this. Right now, one of my best friends is currently in a slump, except he's not a baseball player. He's an entrepreneur, a dad, and a great guy. And right now, he feels like a complete failure. Well, I had coffee with him a while back and listened to the despair in his voice and the hopelessness, and I could relate to everything he was saying. You see, I've been through many slumps in my life. Slumps that felt like they were going to last forever. Slumps that I thought I was never going to be able to get out of. But I always did. These 12 simple techniques coming up can help you to become more positive and more motivated and break you out of any slump. Dr. Seuss says about that, when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. But you can. Number one, acknowledge it. A slump is no different than any other problem or obstacle in your life. You simply can't stick your head in the sand and deny that it exists. Admit that you feel really low right now. Acknowledge that there's a problem. Start there. Number two, accept it. See, this is how you feel right now. There's no getting around it. Accept it. Say a couple of things like this to yourself. This won't last forever. Or, I feel like a failure right now, but I know I'll get better. Or, this too shall pass, and it will. Number three, let it go. Do you know someone who's always got some kind of drama going on in their life? And they always seem to love to tell you and everybody else about it. They're stuck in a perpetual victim mode, and it's an easy but painful place to live. If you want to get out of your slump, you have to be willing to let it go. Number four, talk about it. When we get stuck in a dark place, we start thinking that we're the only ones who have ever felt this bad. But once you start to talk to people and really open up, you begin to realize that everyone has been there at different points in their lives. Number five, don't throw a pity party. You feel down, you feel like a failure, you feel like things are never going to get better. So what do? You throw a pity party. You tell more and more people about how unfair things are. You want their pity. You want them to tell you that you are justified and you should feel bad. But this only has the effect of prolonging it. When you're in this mood, you're not looking for any solutions. You're just looking for people to feel sorry for you. Well, cancel your pity party. Focus on getting out of it instead. Again, Dr. Seuss says, look at me, look at me, look at me now. It's fun to have fun, but you have to know how. If things don't start happening, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along and they'll start happening for you too. Number six, go on a positive mental diet. When I was talking to my friend, trying to help him get out of his slump, he started to tell me about all the terrible things that were currently going on in his world. It turns out he's been watching too much news, way too much. His mind is getting filled up with negativity, and it's making things worse. See, we have to be careful about what we allow into our minds on a consistent basis. The news, negative people, darkness, it can all make us feel worse. It can lead to fear and aggression, and it can hinder your creativity and ability to think deeply. Read some positive motivational books. Listen to songs that are going to uplift you, not depress you. Dr. Seuss says, the more you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. See, I was living proof of that when I was a kid, because I read everything I could. and I went places in my mind I never thought I would go. Number 7, raise your energy level. When you're feeling down, you need to do some things that are going to raise your energy level. Raise your endorphins. The old adage, move a muscle, change a thought, is certainly true here. Go for a walk. Do a quick workout. Do a few push-ups. Do anything that's going to get you out of yourself for a few minutes and get your blood flowing. Number 8, be thankful for it. Everything in life is a lesson. It's just up to you to see it that way. See, what can be learned from this slump? What is it telling you? How is it helping you to change? As hard as it might be thankful for this experience. Be thankful for the lessons it is teaching you. And once the storm is over, you're not going to remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what this storm's all about. Dr. Seuss says, you're in pretty good shape for the shape you're in. I've heard there's some troubles of more than one kind, some from ahead and some from behind. But I bought a big bat and I'm ready, you see. Now my troubles are going to have troubles with me. Number 9, surround yourself with positive people. The infamous Jim Rohn says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. See, don't spend your time with negative people. Take a close look at who you're with most of the time and what their attitudes are like. If they're disproportionately negative, make some changes. Start seeking out people who are positive and are going to lift you up. From my old mentor, Art Williams, says you can't hang around a bunch of dead, dulled, disillusioned, dadgum crybabies and expect to stay positive. Number 10, help someone else. One of the best ways to change your entire mood is to help somebody else. It's quite possibly the most effective and gratifying way to truly get out of yourself and give back. Often when I'm not sure where to start or have a mountain of tasks piling up, I begin by asking someone else if they need help with anything. To me, it's probably the single best motivational productivity tip I can think of. Try it. It works every time. Feeling overwhelmed and down, simply ask or help somebody else. Number 11, be grateful. When you're stuck in a slump, it's easy to feel like there's nothing good in your life, but I found this couldn't be further from the truth. See, no matter what's going on in my life, there was always something I could find to be grateful for. All you have to do is think about one thing that's good in your life. And now add another one, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one. Soon you'll begin to see how blessed you really are. Number 12, take action. It's now time to take action. Decide on one step that you can take to pull yourself out of this slump. And what are you going to do right now? Start really small. The whole point is to just do something positive that'll make you feel better. Dr. Seuss says, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what to do, and you are the only one who will decide where to go. Now, let's go back to Mr. Willie Mays. How did he do during that horrible season when he went 0 for 24? Well, now, Mr. Mays, he only wound up breaking the National League record for home runs and being named MVP that same year, most valuable player. Not a bad way to recover from a slump, huh? Mr. Willie Howard Mays Jr., born May the 6th, 1931, was nicknamed, quote, the Say Hey Kid, end quote. He's a former Major League Baseball center fielder who spent most of his 22-season career playing for the New York and San Francisco Giants before finishing with the New York Mets. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1970 on his first year of eligibility. Willie Mays won 2 National League NL Most Valuable Player MVP awards, ended his career with 660 home runs, third at the time of his retirement and currently 5th all-time, and won a record-tying 12 Golden Glove Awards beginning in 1957 when the award was introduced. Mays shares the record of most All-Star games played with 24, along with Hammer Hank Aaron and Stan the Man Musial. In appreciation of his All-Star record, the great Ted Williams once said, "They invented the All-Star game for Willie Mays." Mays' career statistics and his longevity in the pre-performance enhancing drugs era, and many surveys and expert analyses having examined Mays' relative performance have led to a growing opinion that Mr. Mays was probably the greatest all-around baseball player of all time. Think about it. Man, he kicked that slump in the butt, didn't he? That 0 for 24. He could have quit, but he didn't. You might notice I refer to him as Mr. when I mention his name. And folks, anybody who can do the things he did during his lifetime in the U.S. deserves the title Mr. Okay, one last time, ladies and gentlemen, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way, says Dr. Seuss. Just keep going. You're on your way. Things are gelling, as we say here in the South. It's almost time for a feast like we can't even imagine. Keep those blinders on. Stay focused. As Mr. Paul Harvey would say, now you know the rest of the story. God bless you. Make it an awesome day. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the winner's circle. Goodbye for now.